How's your weekend, man? How are you? Good
Yeah,
meeting
not
this week?
yeah, it was busy, but
Yeah,
it always is. It's obviously a bit difficult because obviously I have to manage this in between
yeah, yeah.
working 9 to 5. So it's obviously yeah, it's one of these things. But I do appreciate you being a bit more flexible. So thank you.
Of course, of course. I'm pulling up, starting my computer here, pulling up your email with the
But you
files.
you did you have a good weekend?
Yeah. Can't complain at all. Yeah, just moving through it. You know what I mean? Moment to moment. Helping a friend record some stuff yesterday, some video stuff. So yeah, it's good.
Right.
Let's see. Uh, let's see. I was before. I was just seeing if you'd sent me any files necessarily.
I
Yes.
I sent you a Rhino and a PDF.
Okay. So, yeah. Get this thing to download. Don't need to scan for viruses. It's all good. Let's see. Saw that. And do this one as well. Just let me download it, please. Not helpful. Whatever you're doing, Google. There. Okay. And then we plug your PDF as well. Okay. Folders. Okay, so I'm gonna just share my screen here.
Nice.
Let's see. This one. So open up your version 3 file. Oh yeah. Those. Okay. Gotcha. And oh, you know what? Let's see. Yes, Leo, come in and lay down. Say, come on in, buddy. Just lay on the thing. Come on, hop on. Go on, lay down. Come on. Yes, take a step. Lay down. You can do it. Come on. That light is not going to do a thing to you. Come on. Step up. Come on. Come on. There you go. Lay down, buddy. Good job. My dog is 12 and afraid of lots of things, so I give him lots of encouragement to do anything. Let me see. So I'm also going to open up the first one real quick, and just to see if there were any lost references in this guy, like not particularly. Okay. If I look at that, so let's see. Do we have? And I'll just do just call this GP edits. Okay. So so is it correct that this is an acetate frame, right?
Yes.
Okay, sweet. So and there was a reference, an image in this layer, am I right?
There was. I'm confused because I don't know if I've. There's a couple actually. I don't know if it's because I've saved it or when I save my Rhino, should I have packaged it out differently?
Maybe, but I can't remember why these like came in okay. Versus like in this first file versus the one you sent more recently. It had lost those references. I have to think about how Rhino does that. If it is smart enough to just bundle the file inside of the 3DM or not. I think
Yeah.
because I know mine will definitely lose references for certain like matte caps and stuff, like shader things. But I just copy them from file to file, and it's all good. Okay, sweet. Okay, so I'm gonna just take these guys 2, 3, and put them maybe on reference for now. Lock those. Okay, so okay. Is that any of that stuff? Okay, okay, doesn't hate that. Hate that. Hold on. Okay, cool. So, turn reference, cool. All right, so I'm just looking at the frame itself here, just to double check my understanding. It's that, it's like, sorry, I'm looking at that in the wrong direction. Oh, okay, got it. So you'd say that. Oh, okay, see it in there. Got it, got that. So then, that hinge. Okay. So I would think that's okay. So now that I'm thinking about that, let's see what we got here. Just looking at that. Okay, simple guy. So okay. So I would think like this guy are gonna go front curve. Okay, we're there. Sweet. Where are these guys? Front curve. Okay. Okay, so you've got, if I take this this front surface here,
Yes.
so that lens looks thin to me, if I had to guess, but I will check quickly. If I copy this guy, offset it that way too. Yes, so the lens is 2 millimeters thick. The demo lens, if you have a sample in hand or whatever, might be this file. If you have a demo sample in hand, they might be a millimeter, especially if it's an optical frame.
Yeah.
But for sunglasses, you want to use 2 millimeter.
Okay.
Let's see. And actually, I would do, let me see. So realistically, this is your front one. Okay. Okay, got all that. Let's see. So I'm gonna do. Let me okay. So what I want to do is just double check. Yeah, you don't have to be particularly technical about this. So I just say line, and then was it not normal, not perpendicular? Normal. I'm going to guesstimate sort of the center of this. I'm going to just pick this front surface. Yeah, the front one. That's fine. Kind of in the middle, somewhere like there. And just draw a line. And then I'm going to type. No. C. Type C 3 times and hit enter to do the C plane alignment. And then I'm just going to draw it to the end of that. And I'm going to call this that. Just so you have that. I did see that. Okay, so then, I mean, so I'd imagine you know what to do with the lens at this point, or just how to get it back to get it to be the 2 millimeters. So I'm not gonna worry too much about that. Just looking at the frame again here. It's that. It's got a little. which if it's just milled. Okay, so, all right, so then let me see if there are tools to measure anything in here. If I put this in second lens. There. So, once you got a lens in there, so basically, let's hide the front.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a tool on the layer called Panto. That's this layer. So you could take this guy. So usually what I'm doing is like I'm just moving it from here
To the quad.
Here-ish, yeah, to the quad. Let's see. Which is probably. Let's get this way. Hold on, I do. Let's just move it straight back until it hits something. Oh, and that's the thing. So Pantos, again, this is for ballpark, keeping it in like the generally right area, basically. Because when I'm doing it, I tend to see if I can get it. Parent discussion is good enough. A lot of times, let's see. I just want to see where it's kind of landing. Yeah. So let's see if happens. Got it. Okay. So it looks like right now we're in the. So that'd be 10, 9. It's probably 8-ish, right? It's just a little more than 8 right in there.
Yeah.
Which is, I'd say, probably fine for now. Nothing I'd be too particularly caught up on. So just worth knowing. So that's that. And then the other one is the head curve, which I'll make like. Just move it from here. That quad, and then you're at about just over 5, which is nice, flat, easy to RX frame. So that's good. Don't need that. Okay, so let's assume that the lens is in about the right place as it is. So then what I would do to start making the front, because again, like doing the whole, which you did this just fine, it's just too thin.
Yeah.
The only other thing that I tend to do now is instead of this edge being like sharp, I will, for example, like if I activate my normal plane, or like my lens plane, usually I'll have this like curve sort of in space. So I'll just let's see, get the whole curve, and I'll just do it from both sides. So I get sort of this thing happening.
Yeah.
And I'll do just 0.1, and so that it's actually 0.2, just a little sliver of flatness. That way, it's like if I ever somehow like delete that by accident, now I've got. Or well, I guess if this gets blown up, it's just like I don't have anything. Versus if I have this little 0.2 strip, at least I have some semblance of like being able to. Let me say it this way: if you don't have this, right, and all you have is, say, just this edge, is all you can duplicate, and that's all you have left. And you have a floating surface in there, but like you still don't really know exactly which direction is normal to the lens if you've somehow lost this lens plane over here for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So it's like if I do have that, now at least I can say, oh, like any of these iso curves are going to be perpendicular to my lens plane, to this. I can always get it back. That's why I tend to do that, and it doesn't affect anything practically speaking. So anyways, so I probably rebuild it with just like this guy in there, but back in the right place. That is good. Let me put this on. And I'll make it green just so you can see it. So again, it's not quite in the right place because it has to move back a little bit, but you know what to do there.
Yeah.
So I have this, that. Okay, so then.
And can you just quickly talk through about like the construction plane? Because like in all honesty, I don't use it that much. You're just sort of building the construction plane you built for the plane was When you're
Like,
building all like how many construction planes have you normally?
usually the ones I tend to add, there's always one for the lens. There will sometimes be one that's kind of like in like kind of under here, like if I'm looking at the nose pad, if I need to like blow a pattern onto it or cut something or something like that. And then so it's usually like nose pad, and then there'll be sometimes a temple tip one if I've got something happening in the temple. That's usually about it. I don't really tend to add that many planes unless it's for something very specific, like I just need to get back to like a view or to like work on a certain plane. That's usually the only time that I really have to add them.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, and if you also notice, so see this little gimbal in here, this little XYZ axis, it goes away if you just deselect out of this list. If you just click in the white space, it'll go away. I didn't know that forever. I was like, why the fuck is this still here? But if you just click off of here, it just hides it. That's all. But I think any of these are like, oh yeah, it kind of gives you a quick reference of like where this plane is in space, kind of thing. You sort of see it moving around, even though you don't actually have it fully activated or whatever.
And
That's
you
all.
just and you press CC to get that right.
Yeah, to actually, well, to set it up. Sorry, let me turn on. Where'd my curves go? 1 second. Yeah, I should actually put this on this thing. So yeah, it was basically, so this is the line that I'll make it white. This is the line that I drew out from, like using the line commands and then normal, and I just like picked somewhere on the lens and just drew out. So that's this curve, and so then it was CCC in spacebar, and then you just pick a curve. Right, you don't even have to. Don't click on it. It'll tell you where, and just go to the end and just drop it there. And then that's this plane that I made, and just save it. But yeah, CCC is what is it? Construction plane with the curve option picked. So yeah. So CCC will help you set up that plane. Okay, so then if I excuse me, if I was doing the front, we can hide these curves. So that's probably going to be on this curve if I had to guess. Those don't matter for right now. So front back on. Okay, so for the front itself, so that one. Oh, this one doesn't have it. So the way I would manage these is like, well, basically this, what you have is nose spot, or like basically with the nose cone in there. That's when I have like stages of a thing, I'll do like, say like surf 1 and then surf 2. Like a really good, I do have it open, just so you can, I think you can see that just in this aviator frame. So like, right, so perfect example. So it's like I have surf 1, which is basically just trim surfaces and stuff, like no fillets, like it's just the basics of the thing. So we're gonna move that over here for a second. So then it's like that's that. Then I have this guy, and I'll put notes like this is the surface with blends, and I'll like have duplicated the edge and put a call out. Sometimes you can actually, what I do now is I tend to just name this curve, like I'll just put R4. So I don't even need this leader anymore. I can just look at the curve name.
Yeah.
So I can remember like what values I'm putting on it, because Rhino's it doesn't have that sort of associability. And then the next one, so the one before this was, it's basically like 2 bodies. It's like there's this one, and then the end piece is separate, and then the next layer where I have with end piece, that's where it's all joined and filleted together. And then after that, all right, there's a bunch of cutouts and shit that happen on the end piece. So like that's another step. And then this is it with the lens groove and fillets and shit popped out of that. So that's how, so when I have a front or whatever piece that this kind of happens in stages, I just do that. So in your case, so what I'd say first is, and Let's see something real quick. Should be sphere. It is. Okay. So I would think we have a surface already just sitting in the, so this is just the front surface of the lens right now that I just picked. So I'm going to take that and put that here.
Yeah.
And I'll just remove it now so we can see it. And what I'll do is I'll take that blue surface and offset it 1 millimeter. And I should work on this layer. That'd be smart. That. Okay. So now I have like a nice happy offset, and I can usually probably join them. That's okay. That's that guy, and then there's another guy. Do you remember what these two other guys were there for?
I used that to cut to do the curve at the front.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So
When I
then with, let's see, where's my bigger curve? I would probably take this guy and just trim that out. What? That's the thing to trim. Oh, I didn't close that. It's not bad. Okay. So now you've got that guy. And then let's see. I would just reference real quick. Oh, wrong reference. Yes. Let's get these in. Okay, so yeah, so it's like I'd say you probably don't really need this curve or this curve. I'm just gonna orange is lock. Let me just make this cyan for now, just so I can pick this guy, lock it, so don't lose them. So from here, okay. So with that guy, cyan is the wrong color. Sorry, white is. And that guy. Right, so that, oh, right, this guy. Okay, I see what those are now. Understood. Understood. So, yeah, I mean, half the time what I'll do is maybe just pick this guy. See, it's 4 points. Good. I'm gonna smash it flat, set points, and then set just the X points so that it just goes flat like that. And then move it out, sort of like you've done. Somewhere out there is fine. And then, wait, I'm doing that wrong. Oh, but yeah, okay, there's a reason to do that. So, straight curve just to this side. Flip that around. Okay, I don't do that curve anymore. Okay, so basically just want to do a loft, you could say, from here. Normal is fine because that'll give you a bunch of like these 4 points on it, which is what you want. May or may not need this actual third row right here of points like those guys. But in the meantime, what I would do is just looking at these two, let me just flip this around. Okay. Oh yeah, I set my back faces now to this sort of pale yellow color just so I can tell which way a surface is facing without having to guess at it or use the direction command, which is, sorry. I had like a CAD model that came in from who knows where that was just a steaming pile of shit and their faces going every direction. And shaded. Then it's under backface settings. Single color for all back faces, and then you can just pick a color here. You can actually used to be able to pick an image or whatever, so you get like stripes on the back or whatever. But anyways, oh, here it is. Or you can set up a material that has stripes on it.
Yeah.
So anyways, so what I would do is just match surface with MS. Pick this. That's the surface. You want to match this. And the tangent. Other end doesn't particularly matter in this case. So now we know that this is tangent. So when you mirror it, it won't be fucked. I tend to take these guys and just smash them flat again. Okay. Just anywhere in there is fine. And then this row, I would probably just bring them forward, out, just so you get a softish curve in there.
Yeah.
And you can futz with this however you like. Now,
And you're just adding in this cut in earlier, essentially.
Yeah, so it's like I do this sort of pre-cut on this shape first, just to kind of get this curve be sort of the right length. But realistically, what you really want to be doing is this. So I'm gonna so this is guys kind of like in place, right? So I'm gonna untrim this the front again, and what I really want is a curve that's about just trim that off. So I really want this sort of trapezoidal curve like that. Make sure that. So now what I can do is, and then I just trim out that little guy. So I have basically that and that. It's like a thing with a window cut out of it. Actually, so what I just did, I could either do it again. So I could, like, for example, I didn't really need to do this the first way. I really should have just drawn the trapezoid first. So let's just delete that and just same thing, just duplicate that edge. It's probably still 4 points because it's pretty flat. I'm going to pick this, flatten the X, put it on 0, 1, 2, 6, 7, 1.64, something like that. Okay, and then that anymore. That is a trapezoid. Sorry. Okay, that's what I'm trying to get. So just loft this guy to this guy. It's fine. Okay, so match surface. This guy. Tangent. Give this curve. Is oh, and so I picked this whole row of stuff. Like if I hit Q, it picks in the X direction, and if I hit Q, it picks in the Y direction. Push like that. Okay, so now this surface can go onto surface 1. Then we just join that. So you basically have, I'm going to unlock those lines real quick. So if I show it, it's not helpful. Sorry, it's not. Let's make it. Okay. So my naked edges are just these right here, right? But it's fine right here. So that is the case. Sorry. Blinking, tinking over here. 1 second, sorry. Okay. So now is the time that you can like go in and like for an acetate frame, you're really just, let's see. What I would do is probably use PL to project it loose. So the difference is, so if I just take, don't need to see the link. Okay. Okay. So basically, it's like if I just took these curves and projected onto this guy, it makes a lot. It does points with a lot of data. So I just hit project, regular project. So and which has loose set to no. And I pick that. If I turn the CVs on, right, it's a shitstorm. You don't want that generally. So instead, you can type PL, where you'll see that loose is now set to yes. If you pick this guy. Now it's real close. It looks like it's on the surface, but it's not. So it's like the same exact number of points as this. They're just sort of bent, like draped onto the surface, basically. And that's definitely more what you want. So let me just do that. These groups. Okay. So just PL and then onto this guy. And again, you can see my construction plane sort of in here. That's why it's going in the right direction. Projection is always relative to the construction plane direction. So I don't even have to be in the front. If I'm doing it in the front view, my construction plane is the front one, so it works. But I can do the same thing if I set it to front and I can do it from an angle just to see what I'm doing. So basically this will match your orthos, right? Because you've done a good job matching that. So then what I would do is thinking about, so what's sort of,
and is there a reason why? Because I just like built the front of the frame and then built the curve on top. Is there a reason why that is like the wrong way to do it?
when you say build a curve on top, what do you mean?
Well, so if you look at the original, I think it's the Y, but it's labeled body.
Yeah, sorry, that was in the, hold on, front, bottom. Yeah, okay, this guy.
If you hide the brown.
Yes, let me just do that. Okay.
Like, because, and then you get so the green one.
All right, this guy.
Yeah, because and then get rid of the white. Sorry.
Right, that's like the evolution, or sorry, what's happening up there?
Because essentially, no, if you go to the front, essentially what I did was I built the surface, offset that, and then built that curve on top. Like the curve, I did the nose.
This guy here. Like these curves, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just harder to control, I guess would be the best way to describe it. And also just there's a ton of data in here, which tells me that this is built for sure with curves as opposed to anything else.
Yeah.
As opposed to like actually manipulating surfaces to do it, which I would say isn't inherently a lower quality model. It's definitely a harder to edit model, typically.
Okay.
So, and actually, I'll show you the way real quick to do the nose pad so that it's less of a like added on. It's the same idea as this of how we did the nose pad. And it just makes the trimming and the cleaning and then the fill. Oh, the other reason why actually it makes the filleting much easier, because even if you went in, let me just isolate this. Even if you went in and like filleted this, and then you're trying to like run a fillet under this back edge and along this guy, and then
yeah, it was kind of one of my questions.
Is that it's not going to want to. It's not going to go how you hope.
Yeah,
did more of what we call a sort of like a cookie cutter type of thing, where it's like it's all one piece, and then I just sort of stamp it out. Your fillets tend to run much more beautifully because basically the common surface between them is it's the same surface as opposed to being pieces of surfaces, I guess you could say.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's part of why. So yeah, so let me think. Let's look at this guy. This is about 6. Let me do that one more time. 6. Okay. So real quick, what you could do is let me hop back up to here. So I'm just going to extract the surface, copy this guy, and go 6. That's our inner guy. I'm just going to flip it so it's not so face. And if I'm going to use yours as a general reference, now when I'm drawing a nose pad, I tend to gonna come.
But essentially, are you gonna offset that surface you just built? Would you just offset that and trim it?
No, to make the nose pad, you mean?
Not the nose pad, to make the actual frame, front
Yeah,
frame.
yeah. So like you can see, or you can kind of see it here. Like this is sort of my 6mm offset.
Yeah.
So, and well, I have to put another one of these in, but I can untrim that for now. Because basically all I'm doing here is I'll take this guy and I'll just draw it up there. Sort of perpendicular to like the curves more or less in there.
Yeah.
I'll draw another, this is just another box or trapezoid, whatever type of shape. So that I'm gonna trim everybody out. Trim that. And so now I have that, right? Like this sort of trim out in the back. And what I'm gonna do is the way you can control your like the depth, like how the height, whatever the nose, really the depth we call it, like sort of this direction, the height. With the nose pad, even though this is more telegraphically. Anyways, what I would do is I just take DE, I just duplicate this edge, and then I will use this tool and just remove it back. It doesn't matter because I'm gonna change all this anyway, but I'll just get a curve back there, right? Let me hide yours now. That off. This is 140 in my face. That is fine. Okay. Yeah. Probably don't really need it, but I will put it on that. Okay. So, right, this. So looking at this guy, then I'll just get it. I'm trying to get it just generally in the middle, essentially. More, it doesn't matter much at all because it's pretty changeable. So, and it doesn't even have to line up at the edge, so it can be in here somewhere. So all I'm going to do is just going to do a loft. I'm going to record. I'm not even going to record history. I'm just going to do a loft from here to here to here. Normal is fine. Flip it so I can see it. So I've got 4 curves, and I know, and generally I want, or not generally, always, I'm going to want this to be tangent on this edge. I'm going to want it to be tangent on this edge, but I don't have enough data in here to do that. So I'm going to type II for insert control points. I click the surface and turn on midpoint. And it's going the wrong, but now it's trying to insert it this way. So I hit T for toggle and it'll insert it this way.
Yeah.
So I'm going to throw probably 1 in there for now and 1 in there for now. Going in max surface.
Out of curiosity, is I an alias you set up, or is that a standard thing?
Yeah, no, it's an alias I set up. It's definitely a standard function, but it's an alias, yeah.
And what's the command?
II.
And it's insert control point.
Yeah, insert control point. Yeah, this one. And I'm gonna just MS to match that to that. Make the force to be tangent. So now I know that it's tangent. If I don't fuck with that row, it will always be tangent no matter what I do. I mean, obviously the shape right now is a little fussy. So what you can do is take these guys, type NN, add some of this. So NN is the move UV tool. So it basically move control points along their UV space. So I've never found a reason to use a long tangent. To me, the default should be a long control polygon because that's why I'm doing this. So it's like the control polygon, these dotted lines, right? So now if I set this, my scale is at 1. So I want to move these basically up this way, which is not in the U direction, but the negative U direction. So I'm going to drag this to the left. And I'm just going to slide up a little bit, just so it's a little less chaotic. And then do the same here. And this is again fully subjective of like how much you move them over. Doesn't really matter. Just so you start to get a smoother blend into the frame. Now, if you wanted there to be more shape, sort of like you have on yours, like you want there to be a little more bias toward the top, you could certainly just go in, pick these guys, and it does not matter where you move these at all at this point. So you can use the gimbal tool and just sort of drag them so it's kind of close. Pick these, just kind of, I'm just using the little plane dragger just to keep them in the plane more or less, but so drag them up a little bit. And, oops, undo. I don't know what I just grabbed there, but a dimension. Yeah, if you want it to be more, that's a little smoother. Just sort of depending on where you want the bias to be. But it's like you kind of figure it out ahead of time, or not ahead of time, but you just futz with it until you're like, oh yeah, that looks about like how I want it to be. Sure. And then again, it's like the only thing that matters is just that your like essentially where your eye shape is crossing this, and like where your nose pad is just, it's outside of that boundary. Like this could be a little bit farther in, but it's plenty fine. So you've done whatever adjustments. Let's just say that is fine for now, based on how the frame sort of fits. Back just to get depth about to where you want it to be. Like that. And then I would just take this guy, and then that sort of inner surface, and just join them, very much like you've joined.
So essentially, you've got one for the front and one for the.
Yeah, and then
the back one is coming on the back surface essentially.
Right, and so basically, essentially what we did here, like I'll take this front trapezoid and just duplicate him with the Y key. So Y is just copy. Just pick a point, hold down Shift, so it's coming back in space. Down tab, it's back there somewhere. It's fine. And I should grab this curve and put this on. Okay. So now I'm just doing that same nose cone exercise at the back, like where you're chopping, and so you're basically, and even what I'll do, I'll do this too. Just grab the one from the back here. Just trim that guy out. And then I'll even just take this surface and just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Usually the bridge isn't as thick, so it's more flexible. So I wouldn't move it back the entire 6. I'd move it in this case probably about 4.5. Now that I know that this edge is 4.5 back from the front version of this edge with this, then I'll just go in and just match surface of this guy to here. And I'll probably preserve tangency just in case it wants to move points on this other edge that you can't see. Now it's, oh, you know what, sorry. When I did that, I don't need this to be tangent at all. Sorry. I want this to be position and this side to be stay tangent. So that's why this is tangent and this is position. Sorry.
Yeah.
And sort of how, depending on how it turns out, you can always come back and sort of adjust this stuff a bit later. Or if you're like, oh, 5 is fine, like I can move this back to 5 and that's okay.
Yeah.
Or I want to take these and like say negative X just to soften this a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is me hitting the escape key. There we go. All right. Need to pick this guy and this guy, showing. And if we should just see just those blue edges of where we trim, yeah, want to keep these guys, you know, just so they don't hit each other, but they're fine for now. And then the last little bit is, so that curve that I projected, this loose curve that I projected, let's see. Lower. And a little, sorry, I'm just getting notifications. What is happening? Yes. Don't need any of that. All right, so that's that curve, and then the one here, I don't think we need that one. That's this one. Okay, so I think it's just, yeah, okay, these are all like the loose curves. So that, I'm going to take those. The center one doesn't really matter much. I'm going to just group them for right now and just nudge them forward a millimeter. So they're just like sitting out in space a little bit. Even a millimeter is probably too much. 1, 2, 3 is fine. Like 3/10 is plenty. So then what I tend to do is, let me just hide all that. And right, so I'll copy paste. I'll move it back the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the 1, 2, 3 to get it on the count for my first 3, and then 1, 2, 3 more. So now it should be 0.3 pretty much behind this guy, which looks correct, like I did that correctly. So what I'll do here to create, let me just pick these guys and I'll show you what. Okay, so what I'm trying to mimic here, let me turn on your references. So right, like, and you started to do it, like, you know, the way that this is kicked up and it's not just flat, which is what many people do incorrectly. And even this looks like it's hard to tell if this is actually just crowned or if it actually is very subtly dipping down. What I tend to do is just, I'll pick this guy in the back view, let's say. And I'll pick.
Yeah.
5 maybe. And then here, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just, this is, I'm just sort of eyeballing this just so it's a general offset. It doesn't have to be perfect at all. Because you'll go in and sort of fuss with it and get it correct. Don't need to move the end these at all, but these you do. Just a couple there. And so I think the top ones are what I tend to do a half, and I think it's the bottom ones, it's more like a millimeter. So
And you just like nudge it a tiny bit, essentially.
Yep,
right?
exactly. Yeah, but yeah, I rely heavily on my nudge keys.
And essentially, are you going to then trim the offset surface with the nudged and then the
yeah,
original?
exactly. So it's like I'm basically going to go in and let me see if I can do this. Will it give me the whole thing? It will.
And then do you sort of sweep the two together, or?
Yeah. So then let me just do this. So I'm just gonna. These are groups. Oops. Get these group those. Okay, now I've got individual pieces. So one thing I notice is if it was me to make my life simpler, I would just draw this all as one curve and this all as one curve. So it's basically a curve from here to the end piece and from the bridge to the end piece. But and you can go back and redraw, but for the purposes of the illustration for right now, you basically, I would just set this to straight. No, we'll do it this way. I would set this to straight sections. So
Yeah.
and what that does is there's just the 2 points instead of having the 1, 2 in the middle.
So is that a loft?
What's that?
That was a sweep, right?
Just a loft. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then what I would do just to give it a little a little bit of life is I would go in and yeah.
So the one problem I had is when I joined is you see the right curve is that like obviously you're going to need to attach a temple to that. It's like should you artificially make that perpendicular or just leave it as is?
No, I would make it basically. Oh, you mean like sorry.
No,
So
those.
If I do these guys, like I would. Oh, I see. Like should this be like this? Like
Not even that, or just straighter. Because at the moment it's a curve, or is it's so minor that you won't notice it?
It's so minor that you won't notice it in real life.
Because this is what because I've got the glasses in hand, and that's what I'm looking for. It's like
yeah,
on the back of the temple, you almost like there's like a mound of like acrylic.
Oh yeah. So there's like a let me pull up your reference. There's I see the references there. Here. Yeah, so like this bit back here.
Yeah.
Or sorry, this bit. I'm looking at this in the wrong
direction. Yeah. Would you build that in after or?
Yeah. Where am I? Yeah, it's basically we're building a sort of this for right now. And then, well, yeah, and this is why, like, this is let's see. Drawing. Oh, right. So it's like this is approximately 9. So right, I would think build it like that, and then you would how you get that to happily happen. This is like a design surface in here, right? Like this surface, but this is like a functional surface. This is the best way I could describe it. Like it's just sort of there. You have that. This is about 6. This is the other 3. Extender. Yeah, there's a couple ways to build up like what do they call this? There's no great name for it, but just to build up this sort of anchor point that they heat sink the hinge into. So yeah, I would build that later. I wouldn't try to build that all as one surface.
And do you build that by chopping away at the surface and then loft it?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you could. I'm just trying to think because this is
because it wasn't a clean. It doesn't look like on the shades. It doesn't look like a clean one. It almost looks like someone's like built on.
And they definitely had because it's like and they'd have to use like say a 9.5 or 10 millimeter acetate just to get this all to be one piece, which obviously is a ton of like waste. You know, like all the stuff that's in here would just get all thrown away, right? That would get hogged out of here if they're using like a full thick piece. So that's why they use like 6 millimeter and just add a little piece on later. So yeah, but that's a good question though, because yeah, this is a built up, not exactly a stacked end piece, but like they've definitely added like laminated on this bit afterward, or not afterward, but at some point in the process they're laminating that on. So I would say honestly, yeah, I mean, yeah, certainly we can build that.
And then, but essentially, it's because I know what I imagined is if we sort of open, as you had is essentially because this is what I was trying to was confused. Do I just like honk the hinge, build the hinge in CAD, and then I just sort of like merge the two together? Because the temple, I don't know if you can open up the CAD I did.
Oh yeah, it's let's see, just on the temple. Yeah, okay, yeah.
It's the green, and then the green one as well.
Oh, is there another one?
No, the same one which you were referencing before.
Oh, the front.
The front, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Essentially, if you're the one below that, it's probably better.
Do this.
Essentially, because the approach I would have done is built the hardware of the hinge in, and then connect the two, or should that piece be pushed up as close as possible?
Yeah, no, you'd want to. Well, yeah, I mean, it's basically. Let me just do this really quick. Let me just take this guy. Sort of get it in place. Let me just mirror that. Basically, we're trying to do something, right? Hi, there we go. Look it out here, folks. Okay. All right. Plus, you have the other, I'd say, the added complication of this temple right now, like, isn't straight, like vertical. I should say it's straight, but it's not vertical, right? So it's like you've got maybe -4, about 4 degrees. So this is called the opening angle, right here.
Yes.
Draw it on. I can't draw it on that side. Okay, cool. Rhino wins, I lose. So I'd say it's a slight complication for me. I tend to just build them straight and just curve them. And like for what we're doing for right now, I would say I would just build it just straight back, and we'll worry about those little subtleties later. But
because this is the issue is like when you build that in, it's that you'd need that section to be straight essentially.
You would, I mean, you can definitely build it just as it's drawn, like with this being like off, below.
Yeah, but I mean, when you loft the two together, you kind of want that to be in a horizontal line in a sense.
theoretically, but it's not the
Yeah.
end all be all, I guess I would say.
No, I was just, it was just my curiosity that I was getting into troubles because I was like, how am I going to match this temple to this? Because it to
Right,
me,
because it's like if it's like, well, it doesn't quite, and this is like
yeah,
this is, I'll say, the clunkiness of acetate. Like acetate is just like that, I guess is what I would say. Like it matches and it sort of flows. I mean, this is a very
yeah, because you kind of want, because obviously I offsetted it. Instead, you want that outside surface or the inside surface to be further out, and then use the straight line or just horizontal.
right. Yeah, I mean, it's like if someone's being truly slavish about it, then like yeah, just build it with the 4 degrees and like have the whole top view. You know what I mean? So then just match everything. But when it
Yeah.
comes to like an acetate piece like this, like I would legit for sure. Just the much less pain in the ass ways. Instead of even building a curve in like this, like building it like in position, I would definitely build it just and like not even curved. I would legit just draw it out like this. Hold on.
Oh no, it was straight. I just curved it round.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, it's why it's thing. It was more. You showed me. The first time we did this, we
Oh, with
built
the
it straight.
bender.
It was more just I was just trying to using flow instead of flow along curve. It was
Oh, okay,
just
yeah. Okay, then that's the way to go for sure. It's like just
um
build it dead flat and then adjust it. And with
I
that
was
adjustment is how I would start to.
yeah.
To me, it's just so much easier to build it just like dead flat, like how it's cut out of the acetate, and then use those bender curves to sort of get this 4 degrees to happen. You know what I mean? So that it actually goes from
Okay, so
like this to actually not just straight, but then also coming at that slight 4 degrees.
um
That's
I'm
much easier.
really into I'm really interested, yeah, because I think that's the thing I'm a bit unsure about that bender curve, but I do need to shoot off, which is
Yeah,
less
yeah,
than
same,
which is
same.
which is less than ideal. I genuinely would love to do this again because I feel like it's like we're getting like I'm getting like 45 minutes and I'm learning a lot.
Yeah, no, and it's a lot to sort of pick up at once, right? For sure, I
Yeah.
totally get it. But hopefully, this should help you. Just real quick before you do, basically with let me just hide temple real quick. All I was doing here, basically with this. So what I would do is like, as your next steps is like, let me just do this notes. One would be quick lens. TB just means to be 2.0 millimeters. That's one thing. I'd say redraw white. I'll say loose projected curves and trim out. So, and all I mean by that second note is basically as your reference. So this curve, that one, and then oh wait, that's one curve. That's one curve. Oh no, you're good. So why the fuck did it project in pieces? Well, anyways, the point is you want to get. Oh, that's what it is. Start here, real quick. Just copy this. This. Okay. But we don't want that surface. We want the okay. Any of those. Really, when you project loose, that. So, okay, so we're gonna project loose onto like an untrimmed thing. That's why it broke the curve. And then PL. And project this, that. And put that back on curve. 1, 2, 3. And then you're gonna go. It's gonna be 6.6. Back. You're basically just now lofting between these curves. That's all it really is. You may have to make some adjustments
Yeah.
to get them to sort of come back through to like, right? So it's like this curve, this curve. Just give it some short shape. You just have to pull it back forward just so it cuts through the nose cone. You know what I mean? But now you have
And
basically a cookie cutter, right?
and you're trimming with the nose cone and the
Yeah, with that already like joined in. So it's like with the.
And
like
then you essentially add a fillet after, because it's obviously going to just.
You got it. Yep. So now you should be able to go back in and sort of trim these guys out, and then like with the lens groove, that's definitely clearly illustrated in the video. That's how you cut out the rest of this and get this guy cut off. Right, like once you have the lens, the proper thickness, and you build the like extrusion off the front and extrusion off the back, that'll cut. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm with you.
So yeah, I'll send you this file back in a sec. But that should get you going, and we can, maybe later in the week, let me know if you got more time, or we can do it next week.
No, we'll do. No, I genuinely would. It's just like, even like, it's more. I think the problem is that the time zone's so different, and it's like bang on. But like, I'll crack on, and then maybe we do the same again next week if you're willing to.
Yeah, totally.
Yes, amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Happy to do it, man.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah, of course, anytime. And I'll send you a link to the recording as well. Like I recorded our meeting, so I'll send you a link to that in case you want to.
Yeah, YouTube. If it's on YouTube, even better.
Okay, yeah, I'll upload it for sure.
Because it was more. It's just, I think what I'm finding difficult is that recession, I do a tiny bit, and it's more like, this is something I think you need to give hours.
Yeah, for sure.
Which I'm trying, and it's nice because I also get to do it like in between like my other stuff, which is quite nice. But like obviously, I'm sat during the working day doing this stuff.
No doubt.
But no, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, man. Happy to help you.
Cheers. Thank you.
Yeah. Talk to you soon.
Cheer. No, but again, we'll do it again. 100%.
Yeah. Definitely do it again. All right.
Yeah.